ম্যাডাম আমরা এখন লাইভে।
হ্যাঁ
Mantasha, with your permission, should I start?
Yes, রেজা ভাই আপনার না ইয়েটা প্লে করার কথা ছিল, the inaugural video যেটা। Nuzhat, you can start.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second session seminar on strategies to recover from a global pandemic, where today we shall discuss the non-financial challenges and opportunities for women entrepreneurs from the Asian perspective. Yesterday, I believe we had a very productive seminar on the financial challenges on SARC perspective, which was where Dr. Shireen Sharmin was the chief guest. Before I start the seminar, it's my pleasure to mention our dignified sponsors. Firstly, powered by Summit Group. I believe Aziza will join us soon, and she's also our wiki member. Secondly, supported by Padma Shona Musjid Port, Noshaba is with us. She was also sponsoring our seminar for today. Our publication partner is Skylar Replica Limited. Ms. Tasneem Senha may also join our session. We shall introduce her when she's joining. And finally, our strategic partners, SME Foundation, Associated Partner AFDB, Communication Partner Deshi Bhalobashi, and Outreach Partner for Women and E-Commerce. So thank you so much for sponsoring our seminar. I guess we have a lot of speakers for today, and we hope for a very bright, enlightening session. I would now welcome our President, BIBC Wiki Board, Mantasha Ahmed, to start the session.
Thank you, Nuzhat, for the opportunity. I would like to give the welcome address. Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Dipumoni MP, Honorable Education Minister, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. The keynote speaker, Mrs. Sherry Blair, CBE QC. Honorable Special Guest, Mr. Naoki Ito, Ambassador of Japan to Bangladesh. Guest of Honor, Mr. Sudipta Mukherjee, Resident Representative of UNDP. Esteemed speakers, members and advisors of Bangladesh India Business Council of Wiki, Honorable Managing Director, Dr. Mofizur Rahman, and my other colleagues from SME Foundation, members and directors of Association of Fashion Designers of Bangladesh, AFDB, sponsors of the summit, members of Deshi Bhalobashi and Women and E-Commerce, our friends from media, my fellow women entrepreneurs, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure and an absolute honor to welcome you all to the closing session of Asian Women Entrepreneurs Summit 2021, organized by Bangladesh India Business Council of Wiki. This is the first summit hosted by the Council. We had the first session yesterday, which was inaugurated by Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhary, Honorable Speaker of Bangladesh Parliament. We were also joined by Dr. Mai Al-Kaila, Honorable Health Minister of the State of Palestine, and other senior economists and SME experts. We are all gathered here today from across Asia during a very special month of a very special year. February is the month of Language Movement Day, which is globally recognized as the International Mother Language Day. And I'd like to pay my deepest regard to the martyrs of Language Movement Day. And this year, we observe the 50th year of independence of our country. With the invention of vaccines for COVID-19, today we hope to talk about the boundless opportunities that women entrepreneurs can create for themselves in the post-pandemic era. As the founder of AFDB, I would like to talk about the handloom and craft sector of Bangladesh, which is the second highest employment generating sector in the country. Due to the lockdown, which started in March in Bangladesh, most of our weavers, artisans, and entrepreneurs got stuck with their stock for Boishak, which is the largest cultural festival of Bangladesh, or Bengali New Year, and Eid, which is the biggest religious festival of the country. The stock from the two festivals alone constitute more than 60% of the sector's total inventory and amounts to almost $1 billion in sales. Amidst extreme challenges, our women entrepreneurs consistently diversified and created new opportunities for themselves and their families. Most importantly, our rural women entrepreneurs have continued their sales operations through e-commerce. And I thank the Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina for her vision of digital Bangladesh and the infrastructure her government has put in place to implement it. However, we need to ensure enough devices, connectivity, and digital training and literacy for women entrepreneurs to take full advantage of this infrastructure. Going forward, we need to identify challenges that obstruct the growth of women-led businesses, access to technology, device and internet, equal opportunities for education and training, complicated business documents, right to inheritance and decision-making, access to information, socio-cultural issues, business management skills, and marketing opportunities are some of these issues. COVID-19 has made us realize the importance of connectivity. Teachers and grandmothers learned virtual classes for children so that the mothers can go to work. Rural women marketed their products through e-commerce websites. Urban women did groceries online, and so on. There are over 165 million mobile phone subscribers in Bangladesh, of which more than 60% are women, which is quite promising when you look at the phone ownership gender gap in the Middle East, where only 10% women are phone users. However, the average gender gap in terms of using internet in low and middle income countries is 50%. In South and Southeast Asia, though, it is much less, with Bangladesh at 29%, India at 20%, Pakistan at 38%, and only 10% gender gap in Indonesia in terms of mobile internet using. Now, to ensure more digital inclusion of women entrepreneurs, development partners and NGOs can give training on digital literacy and internet using. Private sector needs to come forward with user-friendly business apps such as Talikhata and e-commerce and IT solutions that rural women can easily access from their phones. Our Honorable Education Minister is here, and I would like to request her to give highest priority to internet usage and the accessibility of internet in rural and remote areas at affordable prices, and maybe subsidized as well. And I request that there, through you, Honorable Minister, I'd like to request that there be a reflection of this in the upcoming budget, where targeted stimulus packages can be declared with specific recommendations on capacity development projects for women entrepreneurs. A one-year free connectivity would be fantastic, actually. Most women in the cottage industry do not have standard business documents for registration. Lack of mobility prevents them from traveling to local markets to sell their products. There's a huge potential for innovative e-marketing solutions such as Deshi Bhalobashi, which train rural women entrepreneurs to open e-shops and manage their sales and inventory online. And at the same time, they reach out to the customer base in the cities. Bangladesh has set promising examples in empowering women. During the pandemic, a lot of homepreneurs use their kitchen and other facilities to start businesses to supplement their family incomes. Therefore, unlocking the full potentials of women and building their capacity will not only contribute to the local economy of Bangladesh, but eventually will also contribute to global GDP. Development partners can play an important role in implementing awareness campaigns about gender equality. Bangladesh India Business Council was formed in October last year. And in the last 4 months, the council has held several high-level meetings with industry leaders from India, partnered with Deshi Bhalobashi platform, organized international seminars with panelists from Germany, UK, EU, and other parts of the world. And throughout the summit, we are being joined by world leaders, prominent activists, senior diplomats, SME experts, senior economists, successful businesswomen, and aspiring women entrepreneurs. And I feel that the virtual reality has connected women globally. So let us take advantage of this connectivity and reach out to our sisters all across Asia to work in partnership and solidarity. I would like to take this opportunity to mention that WICI has the honor of presenting the highest honor by the Chamber, Women of the Decade in Public Life and Leadership Award to our Honorable Education Minister, Dr. Dipu Moni, and the iconic women creating a better world for all to Her Excellency, Saida Muna Tasnim, High Commissioner of Bangladesh to UK. The awards will be presented towards the end of the session. Thank you very much for joining the summit, and special thanks to those who joined despite the inconvenient time difference from different parts of the world. Thank you. I hope this summit will open up a meaningful dialogue and recommend strategies that would help prepare women entrepreneurs for a better future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mantasha, for your enlightened speech. I think this is the right time to talk about it. There are a lot of women entrepreneurs who are still struggling, and it hasn't ended. And such kind of advices and points, we should take it out on board and actually execute and implement them. We should actually have programs to set them and start executing them. So thank you, Mantasha. I'll move on to our next guest speaking for today is Ms. Sherry Blair, CBE QC. Sherry Blair, founder of the Sherry Blair Foundation for Women, is a leading international human rights lawyer, a passionate campaigner for women's equality. Mrs. Blair has actively campaigned for human rights and equality for women. She's closely involved with a number of charities around the world with a special emphasis on those working with women, children, and the transformative power of education. So I would like all of us to hear some words from her. Thank you.
It gives me great pleasure to address you all at the Asian Women Entrepreneurs Summit 2021, organised for the first time in Bangladesh. We're all gathered here today thanks to the hard work of the Bangladesh India Business Council of the Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, WICI, to address the daily challenges women face in the running of their businesses. This collaboration between women in India and Bangladesh through the Bangladesh India Business Council aims to strengthen women's voices and their participation in the economy and society. In doing this, they join a global movement and network of over 250,000 women across 100 countries, which includes many countries in Asia, and which also has a partner in the UK-India Business Council for Women. It is time that women speak up about the changes society needs to promote women's full participation. It's through support groups and associations such as this one that we can speak to governments and to the wider society about the challenges women face and put forward practical and sustainable solutions to those challenges. For without a proactive effort to provide incentives, concessions and legislation to address the historic disadvantages women have faced in participating fully in economic life, whether through entrepreneurship, professional activities or corporate leadership, we will fail in our global mission to reach the UN Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. This is a huge cooperative venture, encompassing as it does all stakeholders, from schools and universities to NGOs and civil society groups, from associations, chambers of commerce, technology companies, banks, and of course governments to come together to address long-standing barriers to women's progress in education and skills, mindsets and motivation, access to technology, funding and credit gaps, to name just a few. Now is the time to be identifying the non-financial challenges that hinder the growth of women-led businesses in Asia, particularly in the rural areas. The informal economy in South Asia is estimated to stand at 80 to 90% of the labour force by the ILO. This percentage may have reduced in the last 10 years, but unpaid family labour still remains unaccounted for, and that's women's labour. The odds are stacked against women at every turn. Gender inequality gives them little access to technology, and complicated legal processes prevent them from setting up a registered business. Lack of education and skills training contributes to business failures. Not having equal inheritance rights force them to rely on men for financing. Incidents of domestic violence shatter confidence. The list goes on. COVID-19 certainly hasn't made things any easier for women. It's disrupted normal life and businesses. It's causing immeasurable losses worldwide. Throughout the pandemic, many women have set inspiring examples of creating new opportunities for themselves. Despite the difficulties, women entrepreneurs have continued to strive for a better future. They thrive and restore faith in their employees and customers, thus contributing to building a stronger, more resilient community. The pandemic has also opened up new opportunities for women entrepreneurs to realize their potential. Many have taken this opportunity to turn their passion into a profession and market their products through e-commerce. Women have pivoted their businesses to manufacture PPE and masks. Others have utilized their domestic skills to start home-based businesses to supplement the household income. Some have offered tuition online. Many others have got involved in telemedicine. Once again, the opportunities are endless, as is the inventiveness and resourcefulness of the women who seize these opportunities. It's high time that we focus on reducing gender gap and evaluate a woman based on her skills, her potentials, her integrity, and her determination, not assumptions about her gender. This realization has to start at home, with family. Equal priority should be given to a girl as to the male members of her family, for education, for health, for training, for access to technology, and most importantly, decision-making. Parents of boys should teach their sons to respect women. For when a boy witnesses gender equality at home, he will learn to respect his wife, support her work by sharing household and family responsibilities. He will learn to include her in family and other decisions and to ensure her access to technology. Equal opportunities for female employees will not only contribute to company growth, but will also help build a more solvent community, ensuring a better future for our children. In 2015, the McKinsey Global Institute estimated that if women were to play an identical role in labour markets to men, an extra $12 trillion would be added to the global economy by 2025. The Sri Blair Foundation for Women's Research with Boston Consulting Group last year found that if women entrepreneurs could participate equally with male entrepreneurs, it could add up to $5 trillion to global GDP. That's the equivalent to the combined US and China economies today. These are eye-watering economic opportunities. So why aren't we moving faster? The business case is clearly not the only issue. Beyond these statistics, the fact remains, women and girls have the right to enjoy an equal role in society. But behind the denial of this right lies deeply embedded discrimination. The case for gender equality is founded in both human rights and economic arguments. Closing gender gaps must be a central part of any strategy to create more sustainable and inclusive economies and societies. As Christine Lagarde, when she was head of IMF, said, if you discourage half the population from fully participating in the labour market, you're essentially behaving like an airline pilot who shuts down half his engines in mid-flight. Sure, your plane will likely continue to fly, but it will be such a crazy thing to do. SMEs are the driving force of an economy, and women-led SMEs tend to create more employment for other women. COVID-19 has taught us that there is no alternative to technology for global connectivity. Therefore, to increase women's participation and performance in the SME sector, we must give them adequate access to devices and technology. Rural women can contribute significantly to national economy through digital transformation and sustainable supply chains. In Bangladesh alone, there are 700 e-commerce sites and 8,000 Facebook e-commerce groups. Platforms like Deshi Baloshi are building capacity of rural entrepreneurs, weavers and artisans to run their own e-shops and sell online. My foundation has a very successful mentoring platform which provides online across the world mentoring for women entrepreneurs. Mentoring can be very effective for encouraging and supporting entrepreneurship. When an inspiring entrepreneur is paired with a successful businesswoman as a mentee, she learns from practical experience of her mentor. Technology now enables women entrepreneurs across the world to be connected with global mentors, irrespective of the location of the mentee. Let us take advantage of this opportunity and build a strong fraternity of women entrepreneurs. I congratulate Mantasha and all the summit participants on all you've already achieved to be here today. I know that it is through coming together on occasions like these that we can help each other in our struggle for a world where women and men come together in respect and equality to build communities which welcome diversity, embrace change, and deny no one an equal chance to fulfill their talents and dreams. I look forward to hearing about the successes that will come out of this summit in the future and wish you a very successful meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sherry Blair. It was wonderful to listen to all the valued points. I truly agree. Rightly highlighted, gender equality starts at home, whether urban area or rural area, we must focus on that. Women have a lot to give to this country, especially in the rural areas, and we have to help to utilize their potential that has caused much loss to their livelihoods at this time. We must, as a team, come together, come forward to accelerate the steps that has been discussed by her as well, to give them these opportunities and reduce the gender gap as soon as possible. I would like to welcome our next guest, who is going to talk about capacity building through training and mentorship, Dr. Mohammad Mufizur Rahman, who is the Managing Director of the SME Foundation.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister Dipumoni MP, Minister of Education, we have among us today Sherry Blair, Mia Seppo, our ambassador, Japan ambassador to Bangladesh, His Excellency Naoki Ito. We have also ambassador of Bangladesh in UK, Saidan Tasneem Mona, and also we have Mantasha Madam. He's the actually pioneer to start this program, and also the another pioneer from India, the president of Wiki India. Thank you very much. Actually, I have been given the topic to strengthening the capacity through the vocational training. Actually, I should not say the training, rather only vocational training. Rather, I should say this is the training technical or the vocational training. So at the beginning, actually in very short or in brief, what do we mean by the vocational or training, the technical training? Very simply, if I say like this, the vocational or technical training is basically a lifetime and need-based hands-on training, which can convert an unskilled, inexperienced, and illiterate population into a skilled workforce. Rather, on the other hand, if we say it is a tool to convert the manpower, I should actually stress the word manpower, into human resources. That means all the manpower is not human resources until and unless he or she must have some quality or the technical or the vocational expertise or expertise to product something, either product or the services. So vocational or the technical training, we refers to the instructional programs or courses that focuses on the skill required for a particular job, or it might be a trade or craft as a technician or a professional vocations. So actually now the question, how we can make the capacity building of our workforce or the manpower into human resources, and it should be done through the vocational or the technical training. If we, as because it was only 7-minute time, I must go very quickly. And actually, what is the importance of the vocational or the technical training? This is actually, first of all, this training, either vocational or technical training, transform manpower into human resources that I already mentioned. This is a lifetime skill. If anybody can achieve this technical skill or the vocational skill, that does not belong to a particular year or time or so it's actually a lifetime skills that can be used in any time, even for the job, not shop, or whatever it is else on. And skilled workforce is one of the assets that neither depreciated nor diminished. Sorry for, I think we are listening or hearing some noise because we have come to a new office and still the renovation work is going on. For that reason, maybe the sound can come.
No problem, please.
To achieve the competitive advantage, vocational training is a must. Vocational training or the technical training, and also to increase the productivity, diversification and the market penetration other than the actually expertise on technical capacity. It should not be able to have the market, quality products and services, and finally the customer satisfaction. And finally, I should say the vocational and technical training is a necessity to have the profit margin or the maximum maximization of the profit margin. And also, and there are so many regions or importance we can mention, but today, as because what actually the concern is the women in development, how our SME Foundation is actually working for the our women entrepreneurs. I would like to stress on that particular point. You probably know that the SME Foundation is providing this technical or the vocational training through different wings. We have the we actually technology wing, we have women development wing, we've had human resource wing, we have cluster development, and also the policy support wing. More or less all the wings has, there are so many vocational or the technical training. Out of them, I would like to stress on particularly on our training provided by the technological wing. If I just mention some courses or training courses that was actually fixed for this current year, this was altogether actually 32 courses we have been developed for this current year, but unfortunately due to COVID, right this moment up to February last week or the first week, we could only continue the only 9 training courses we could complete because of the COVID, you know the reason behind it. And these were the boiler operation and maintenance, leather flower design and cutting swing, food safety management, productivity enhancement, environment management system, basic productivity in bakery industry, quality and compliance, leather and footwear, leather shoe design making, industrial electrical wearing. This was the only 9 courses we could we are able to manage right this moment. Actually, we have only 4 or 5 months left to complete this current year, but you know, because of the COVID, we could not complete the rest one. The women in development, actually, that is, I think this is the today's topic, more or less linked with the women entrepreneurship development. We had a 50 programs for the current year. Unfortunately, up to today, we could complete only 17 courses. Out of this, jewelry making is 1 course, online marketing 4, business communication 4, stress management 2, and new business initiatives on 6. Altogether, through 17 courses, we would have 415 women entrepreneurs actually joined in these training courses, but we had a target about more than 1,000 in current year. But you know, due to various reasons, particularly the COVID pandemic, we could not, the physical movement, lockdown, social barrier, and there are so many reasons and difficulties. Actually, we could not able to manage all these trainings. Our human resource wing had a plan to complete 100 training courses in this year, but unfortunately, we only could finish 33 by this time. And our other team, that is the policy support wing, the cluster development wing, we had also planned to complete at least 25 training courses in this year, but we have could able to actually only 5 we could complete it on the, particularly on the technological training or the vocational training. Now, the situation actually, we are thinking probably our government is also positively thinking to actually open up the school, college, and institutions. Probably, if the situation actually being normal, in that case, probably we will be able to complete another 25% of the technological training. But I would like to, now I actually would like to finish by saying that these technological training or the vocational training, if we could not provide our entrepreneur, particularly our women entrepreneurs, in that case, it will be really difficult to achieve our target, either the yearly target or the long-term plan and the vision 2021 and 2041. Actually, that for we are working. You know that our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has set 2 specific targets before us, that is 2021 middle income country, that we are very close to that, and 2041 a rich and developed country. But so SME Foundation actually is dedicated to particularly to develop the women entrepreneurs, either by actually what we have do. We are doing the policy support, we are providing the technical training, we are providing them the financial inclusion through the financial institutions, and also providing them the technical and vocational training. Out of this, all this program, SME Foundation is ready to actually cooperate with all other components, all other sectors or segments of the government and its division and ministries and institutions to extend our policy support, our technological support, particularly the training program. We are expecting that inshallah within very soon the COVID impact will be over, as the vaccine has come and started to implementing this program. We are very much hopeful that very soon we will be able to normalize the situation, and we will extend our heartiest cooperation to provide maximum vocational or the training education to our entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs. Having said that, I would like to thank again the Mantasha Madam and the Wiki India for coming up a very useful summit organized by them, and we are happy to be part of this summit. Thank you, Madam. Thank Minister. Thank you all. I hope inshallah we will be in touch and we'll work together. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, Honorable MD of SME Foundation, Dr. Mofizur Rahman. I just wanted to take this opportunity to introduce our guest of honor, Mr. Sudipta Mukherjee, resident representative of UNDP. Ms. Mia Seppo is hosting an event at the UN. So she sent her apologies and said she would try to join towards the end if she gets an opportunity. And we also have Dr. Harbin Arora, the president of Wiki, who's chairing this session. And we're just being joined by Saida Muna Tasnim. Welcome, Munapa. Thank you for joining. Okay, over to Nuzhat.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Dr. Mofizur Rahman, with your speech. Without training, efficiency may not come across, and we have to have training. We need to enhance productivity, ultimately maximize profit. Sorry, I think someone needs to mute themselves. Okay, sorry about that. I just wanted to thank Mr. Mofizur Rahman for his enlightened words. Without training, efficiency may not come across, and we need such training. We need to enhance the productivity, which will ultimately maximize the profits. And we have to start this slowly, although you did mention that there are many courses left, but I wish you all the luck that we can finish these courses and upgrade their skills. So moving on to our next speaker is Ms. Tina Jabin, who is currently the Investment Advisor, Startup Bangladesh, ICT Ministry, Government of Bangladesh. She has guided the team in crafting the investment and operations guideline and building the accelerator. We would like Ms. Tina to enlighten us on the digital literacy, how government can reach out and give us strategies on building or empowering women on the digital transformation. Ms. Tina Jabin.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nuzhat Bari. Assalamu alaikum, Honorable Education Minister, Dr. Dipu Moni. It's always very, very nice to see you. You're always with us, also working with us with our startups. So it's really nice to see you. Honorable Ambassador Saida Muna Tasnim Appa, very nice seeing you, and His Excellency Ambassador of Japan, Naoki Ito, and distinguished panelist and the president of Wiki, Mantasha Ahmed. Thank you so much for inviting me on behalf of ICT Division to share our thoughts about what we are doing for enabling our women, the citizens, to come to kind of be the contributing partners in this digital Bangladesh legacy. So as you all know, that Bangladesh has been showing unprecedented growth in the last 10 decades. Even during COVID, we have shown a positive growth, where in the region, there has been negative growth. And women has been a major growth engine in the development of Bangladesh. Although we have a lot to go, but still, with increasing income that has been coming from the RMG sector, where 65% of the labor force, 4.5 million labor force, 65% are women. And from that, empowering women financially, there comes, the social fabrics of the country got positively impacted. We know that there is low mortality rate, child mortality rate, there is higher education. And also, this way the country has become a more financially inclusive, more of a financially inclusive economy. And a woman has been a big part of it. And now we are discussing a lot about, SMEs, women SMEs. And I wanted to kind of share with everybody what we are doing from the ICT division. First of all, I want to start with paying our respect to the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. We are celebrating Mujib Shatobarsha, birth centenary of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. We are also celebrating the 50th birth anniversary of Bangladesh. Very, very, very special year for us. And this is February, a very special month, with respect to our language martyrs. I would like to begin. So what we have done, couple of things. I would, since I work with startups a lot, and I will speak from that context. And also, when we are working with startups, we actually work with hundreds of thousands of women SMEs and also, CMS SMEs. So Startup Bangladesh, a very little bit about the platform that I represent. Startup Bangladesh is a venture capital fund, which has been funded by a very, very generous allocation of about $65 million, which is equal to 500 crore BDT by our Honorable Prime Minister. We started our journey back in March 2020, and I joined there as the managing director of the company. And the mission is to support and financially and all kinds of in-kind support the very, very robust startup ecosystem in Bangladesh. And startups means, technology. We have to use technology to transform people's lives to get the scale that we need to make changes and reach the last mile client. So one of the big initiatives of our ICT ministry, and which has been pushed by our visionary leader, ICT advisor, Mr. Sajid Wajid Joy, is that we need to provide platforms where we will bring in entrepreneurs of the country and support them through financial support, through networks, through programs such as this, where I know that probably hundreds of thousands of women are really watching or actually follows Wiki, and I also see the women and e-commerce platform here. So what we do is we provide grant for about $12,000 to startups, and we also provide equity financing. So we are a venture capital fund, 100% sponsored by the government of Bangladesh, but we also provide equity financing just like any other VC fund in the world. And that is, we provide $100,000 of seed financing and $750,000 of growth financing. And some of our, kind of trying to tie it back to what we are doing for women is that, some of our startups who are like e-commerce based, F-commerce based startups, and they are hosting almost 700,000 plus SMEs, startups such as ShopUp. I'm sure you know a lot about ShopUp, and a very big part of that are women SMEs. And that is really using technology and enabling traditional businesses, these women SMEs, to reach the client, the large clients. And the startups are coming in the middle of this and enabling them. So that's one. The other startup I'm sure you have known is Sheba XYZ, which has almost 500,000 some SMEs who are doing like FMCG type of work. So they also have lots of women SMEs, women entrepreneurs who are providing service type of businesses. So that is also again technology, and we do have a lot to go. Right now, from our platform, we have provided grant to 175 plus startups, and from our VC fund, which is Startup Bangladesh Limited, we are looking into investing in 30 plus startups during this year. Now, one of the things that ICT Ministry has done, which is going to be part of our ICT policy for 2021, is during COVID, what has happened, in basically the whole ecosystem, business ecosystem, and how we can use technology to reach, like education, digital commerce, e-commerce, agriculture, how we can use technology to really transform those sectors. And from that, what we have come up with a white paper, and what we are looking into is that we can talk about technology a lot, but if we cannot go to the last mile client, if that client doesn't have a digital device and cannot access the digital device because it's not affordable, the internet bandwidth is not affordable, there is no point in putting all kinds of programs. So one of the things is to, we are pushing is that, to make the digital device affordable, to make the internet bandwidth affordable, and also, making sure that there is digital literacy. You have to be able to you should know how to use a smartphone, or else how would you, place the order for your client? So those things have come up from our post-COVID ICT roadmap. Additionally, we are going to look into digital commerce, e-commerce, agri-tech, and in all of this, we are going to use technology. We got the opportunity to work with Education Ministry, and it's because of the graciousness of our Education Minister, Dr. Deepu Moni, is that we got this chance to have about 25 startups who has prepared all the online classrooms during this lockdown period, and we provided this to the ministry, and this is how the students, they have continued their education. So there is a lot that we need to do, but a lot of things that has already started. And from ICT division, our message will be to, technology is the tool, and we are very open to work with SME Foundation and all the platforms who are working with women entrepreneurs. And also, definitely we want to expand our network. And in that regards, we want to probably explore how we can collaborate with all our offices in the foreign ministries and in the embassies and whatnot. With UNDP and UNCDF, ESCAP, we are already working. And from Startup Bangladesh Limited, we are looking into a few projects that we are going to take. And I just want everybody to kind of keep their eyes and ears open, and please reach out to us and see how we can work together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Tina Jabin. I think we have done some commendable jobs along the way. Was really good to hear on regarding the growth perspective and how the government is supporting the hundreds and thousands of SME women startup initiatives. Although we have a long way to go, we must congratulate for you coming across so far. And definitely the agriculture sector, the education sector, many of these sectors need your guidance, and we need to make a positive impact. And we wish you and all your team all the very best to to continue these efforts, and hopefully we can see the results soon. So moving on to our next guest and speaker is a well-known diversity expert, best-selling author, and sought-after commentator who appears regularly in the Japanese media is Ms. Kaori Sasaki. She's the founder and CEO of eWomen Incorporated, founder and CEO of Unicol International Communications Consultancy. She's also the founder and chair of International Conference for Women's Business. Ms. Sasaki has served on numerous councils for the Ministries of Health, Labor and Welfare, of Education, of Economy, Trade and Industry, and of Information Technology. So it is my pleasure to invite her and to please, we would love to hear from her right now. For Women's Business. Ms. Sasaki has served on numerous councils for the Ministries of Health, Labor and Welfare, of Education, of Economy, Trade and Industry, and of Information Technology. So it is my pleasure to invite her and to please, we would love to hear from her right now.
Okay.
Ms. Sasaki has served on numerous councils for the Ministries of Health, Labor and Welfare, of Education, of Economy, Trade and Industry, and of
Sorry to interrupt. I think Ms. Sasaki, maybe another computer is running in the same room where you're logged in as well. So if you can log out of that or mute it and turn off the speaker, maybe that would help because it's echoing. We can hear multiple voices in the background. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. I think Ms. Sasaki, maybe another computer is running in the same room where you're logged in as well.
No,
so if you can log out of that.
I am alone,
Or
and
mute
then
it and turn off the speaker. Maybe that would help because it's echoing. You can hear multiple voices in the background. Thank you.
could I talk?
Sorry to interrupt. I think Ms. Sasaki, maybe another computer is running in the same room.
No, only
where you're
one.
logged in as well.
No,
so if you can log out of that.
I am
Or
alone,
mute
and
it and turn off the speaker.
Can Raju help us to fix the technical issue?
No, madam, it's making a loop probably.
Maybe another computer is running in the same room.
No,
where
only
you're
one.
logged in as well.
No,
so if you can log out of that. এটা কেন হচ্ছে এই প্রবলেমটা একটু বললে তাহলে আমরা ওনাকে বলি উনি সলভ করে দিবে।
So could I talk?
I think,
Yes, of course.
yes, please.
Okay, so let me just then start talking. If the sounds doesn't really right, then please just do whatever. So is it okay?
It's okay now. I think everyone
right.
can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Please.
my name is Kaori Sasaki. I'm speaking from Tokyo, Japan. I am very, very honored to be invited as a speaker at Asian Women Entrepreneurs Summit 2021 in Bangladesh. Now in Tokyo, it's a Sunday night, 6:50 and dark, but it's a very warm night. I remember the days that I visited Bangladesh, 1991. I loved the country. I'd love to go back, and I wish I was speaking today in there. But now this is online world. So let me speak from Tokyo. I've been an entrepreneur for 35 years. That my first company I started was 1987. It's called Unicol International. Translation and then interpretation services. And still providing 70 languages interpretation, translation, media trainings, and speaking techniques or coaching. Then I started the International Conference for Women in Business. That is the largest diversity conference in Japan now. More than 1,000 people get together every year for last 25, 30 years, age from like teenagers to executive level, to CEO, to chairperson or retired person, the academia, sports, art, politicians, and then musicians, of course, with the business executives and politicians as well. This has been the largest diversity conference so that people could learn and then meet each other to enhance. We have actually done this, the largest conference last year online because of COVID-19. But our theme at the time was Go Beyond. And then, so not only because of the COVID, we had to shift online, but we celebrated the new era. And we have more than 1,000 people access from all over the world, 23 countries. And that was 10-hour nonstop, no single break. And then we have 52 speakers from all over the world. And that was very exciting moment. 98% of the participants were very satisfied. And a lot of people says that surprising to receive emotions and passion through online. So that is a new world. Then I started eWoman at the year 2000. That is a diversity consulting company. We have invented diversity index, which is to measure corporation diversity to its corporate value. The ESG investment, as you noted, is the trend now. So investors or even consumers are not evaluating corporations not only of its financial value, but non-financial value as well. But the environment or governance are a bit easier to measure because there are a lot of regulations and so forth. How about diversity is a bit difficult. So a lot of companies started counting the number of women or disabled or nationalities. But that doesn't really lead to innovation. My definition of diversity is diversity of viewpoints. So we invented not only survey, but the diversity exam, so that all the employees, including CEO, take the yearly annual exam of diversity index, and we analyze it to and relate to its ROE or profitabilities or growth rate, so that and we will have the dialogue with CEO to find out the issue on diversity. Well, the world has changed, as I just mentioned, that people are now conscious about not only financial, but non-financial as well. The other change of the world is COVID-19. It's so obvious that the technology is now on, like a conference like this. This was like, if it was a couple of years ago, we all had to come together to do the meetings. It was, yes, it was, the technology was there, but that was a bit rude things to do or rare thing to do. And we all thought that meeting in person was the most important thing. But no, that the world has changed, and now technology is here. The Zoom technology is the innovative, the day by day, it's getting better and better. The other online the technology as well. So technology is the key to open doors for women, I think. So now that the locations or educations are not disadvantage anymore, we can reach out each other through video, online, whatever, and it's easier to do that, and it's beneficial. We can teach, we can be taught, and we can do business online. Even we can do the fintech, the money exchange and whatever. So technology and the internet are the game changers for sure. So enhancing women's entrepreneurs' capacity building in Asia, that was the theme that I was received. So I would like to say three things. That the one is to study, that we female entrepreneurs, we got to study. That in my case, that I started my first business without know any knowledge. I just had a passion. I just had an idea. So, well, 35 years we survived. But if we know something before, or if I know some knowledge, then it much easier or maybe shorter way. So we now, all women, we do not spend kill any time. We like to put our effort to study. There's so many textbooks to read. There's so many lessons online, and there's so many people available in the world. And now there's so many materials to learn, so that we got to study. We cannot say that we don't know that. We have to study. That's one thing. And the second is to use the support system, which I never had 35 years ago. 35 years ago in Japan, a woman, single woman in 20s, started a new business, was very, very particular. Newspaper came over to me to interview. Magazine came over to me to interview. Why I started my business. Single woman, no money, no parents' background, no nothing. And why did I do that? So, but the now, and the other time that there is no lessons, no books, no lectures, anything, no classes available. I was called the female entrepreneur. Actually that there's no terminology entrepreneur. I was called the female president of a company. But anyway, so after 35 years has passed, now there is so many support system. Like this summit is this one of them. The International Conference for Women Business, our conference is one of them. And then the World Bank is providing WeFi program, which is supporting a lot of female entrepreneurs in the world. And then Tokyo Metropolitan Office has been supporting female CEOs and executives. They have been providing seminars, mentoring, workshops, and conferences, all for free of charge. It's just a very powerful support system to the business, not only the entrepreneurs, but business executives and CEOs for women. So yes, that there are so many challenges for women. There's a data that the women has a very hard time accessing to capital. We do not access to a good human management system. Hiring is very, very difficult as well. However, there are lots of support systems. So we got to find them and use them. And then we should really motivate ourselves. And then third, the last one is network. I have a definition of a network, a net that works. So net is only connecting one person to one person, or just exchanging name card, or just knowing that person. But most important part is the work part, not net part, but the work part. The work means giving or receiving. They be effective to each other. So network is to connect each other and support each other, and you give yourself to the others and you get support from others. So the net works, a net that works. That is very, very important. As I mentioned, that the International Conference for Women in Business in Tokyo just had done in online last year, September. We have a program called the Matching Sponsor Program, which a participant pay double to support female or male university or high school students to join the conference. It's like a couple, like a mentor, mentee kind of things, and they learn each other as well. So that is also a part of network. Or we do online networking. We exchange the information each other so that we get to know each other even online, and then become friends and support system. That's also a network. So network is possible online as well. I really do believe that through this summit that we get empowered, and then we know each other and we support each other. Well, so lastly, I should stop. But so again, that the power of online or of the world is expansion. We expand our capability. We are not limited in local cities or local place or former education system. Now we can access to anything in the world. So now is a time for us. It's no borders at all. The expansion of business, learning, and networking. We can network beyond borders. Physical distance is no more an obstacle. Education is not the obstacle. So we just study when we support the systems, we use the support system and then network. So join our International Conference for Women Businesses coming in this September 12th. We had again, like 23 countries, and people are coming from 23 countries last year. And I'd like all of you to join us in coming September. Women entrepreneurs are the change agents and driver to the economic growth. So let's get connected and let's network. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful speech, Ms. Sasaki. And first of all, let me congratulate you on conducting the largest conference online, which was a 10-hour session. Definitely something to be proud of. And also the launch and introduction of Diversity Index, I think is something many countries can adapt in order to understand the changes. And like you said, technology, I think, is the magic word, and it is a must-have for now and for the future. And finally, like you said, networking is definitely crucial to connection. I think what we are also doing right now is we are networking. And I believe even in my previous job life and in my current business, it is due to networking that I've made so many nice friends, and my business has also evolved. So very crucial points. We loved your speech. Thank you so much. And before I move to the next session, next guest, I would again like to thank our title sponsor, Bragg Bank, and powered by our other sponsor, the Summit Group, and Panama Shona Moti Masjid port, where Noshaba is here with us. They are also supporting us with this particular seminar. Our publication partner, Kyler Replica Limited, and finally, our strategic partner, SME Foundation, associated partner, AFDB, our communication partner, Deshi Bhalabashi, and outreach partner, Women and E-Commerce. So thank you so much for having this session sponsored. And our next guest is our avid supporter for Deshi Bhalabashi, for SME Foundation, is our Japanese ambassador, Naoki Ito. We are glad to have you as our special guest in today's seminar. We would like to hear from you a few words. Thank you.
Nuzhat, I think we have the guest of honor before Mr. Naoki Ito, His Excellency. We have the resident representative of UNDP, Mr. Sudipto Mukherjee, as the guest of honor.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so please, apologies from my side, and I would like to welcome Mr. Sudipto Mukherjee, the UNDP representative, and we would definitely like to hear from you right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nujat. Let me start by, you said you want to apologize. I should apologize on behalf of the UN resident coordinator, Mia Seppo, who's unfortunately not able to be here this afternoon. She might join later. So I recognize the presence of the Honorable Minister of Education, High Commissioner Saida Muna Tasneem, Ambassador Ito, very distinguished participants. We have Ms. Sasaki, who just spoke, Tina Jabin, who spoken earlier, and many participants from the media. And of course, you have a huge array of sponsors. That itself shows how well networked you are. COVID-19, and before I start, I must also say that in addition to my being the UNDP resident representative, I also happen to be the COVID-19 coordinator for UN as a whole for Bangladesh. And sort of that gives me additional insights into what havoc it has actually played into everybody's lives. So COVID-19 has impacted everything and anything on this planet. And impacts, as we've seen, are just not multidimensional, but their severity varies across communities and geographies. And if simply one goes by numbers, and I don't even need sort of hard evidence for this, the worst affected are women in poor communities in developing countries across the globe. That's the pattern. Many of these impacts and recovery challenges must also have been discussed in yesterday, and I have heard some of them being discussed today. And I am both personally and as the representative of the United Nations here today, I strongly welcome it. Discussing a problem is the starting point. We are at least acknowledging that the problem exists, and it is the starting point of any solution crafting. The World Economic Forum has described COVID-19 as the biggest setback to gender equality in a decade. Around the world, the COVID-19 pandemic has triggered a global economic downturn, and small and large businesses alike are closing their doors forever. But studies are showing that women entrepreneurs have had a disproportionate impact. According to a recent report, women's jobs are 1.8 times, almost double, more vulnerable than the male counterparts in this crisis. And the cost of any inaction is extremely high, as by 2030, that's the year when we hope to have normally been able to achieve the 2030 agenda, which is the global sustainable development goals. It looks like that we could be having nearly 25% more poor women than men, with the worst affected being people from the age group of 25 to 34, and that's the age when they're actually raising families. This will have an intergenerational impact. Other than loss of livelihoods, many women have become victims of growing and disproportionate burden of work at home, but also of gender-based and domestic violence. During the pandemic, as women continue to bridge the gap where schools, childcare, and other services are shut down or scaled back, they are having to bear the brunt of loss or reduced paid work. Across the globe, a gender gap was found in business closure rates. First, women are more likely to close the business than men in countries with strict lockdown policies, and they potentially have to shoulder the extra care responsibilities that are required during a school closure or a stay-at-home policy. In fact, even in my office, when we do allow people to choose their alternative work modalities, just the women who are wanting to come back, saying that if I can't come back to office, I won't be able to work. Second, women are more likely to be concentrated in what they call consumer-facing sectors. This is a new term I learned: services, hospitality, retail, trade, where the demand shock is hitting the hardest. Third, in regions where financial assistance in response to COVID-19 is limited, we find greater persistence in the gender gap in closures. The results of a recent Future of Business survey reinforces that insight, shedding light on some of the gender disparities in the economic impacts of COVID-19. A more detailed examination of the data on gender differentials in time spent on domestic responsibilities and sectors of operation and financing in response to COVID-19 can assist in developing appropriate policy responses. At the same time, despite all the crisis, it has also afforded us the opportunity to halt the cancer and rebuild the forward better. A combination of both immediate relief and long-term reforms are needed to required to help women bounce back. Now is the perfect time for businesses to do their part. Attention to women's economic empowerment and disempowerment have helped economies recover and grow in the past, and is an essential component of the global recovery from the current pandemic moving forward. The expansion of gender-responsive social protection systems, including those who are absolutely too poor to make regular social security considerations, like small farmers, small business women, domestic workers, etc., or on the other hand, were previously not considered poor enough to qualify for social assistance, also needs to be covered. While any gender-responsive program needs to be multi-pronged, I want to focus on a few things that are not solutions in themselves, but could be building blocks of any solution going forward. And they encompass the need to acknowledge a problem, that's what we've done, understand where they exist and in what form, taking a more evidence-based and targeted approaches to solution building, and of course, making sure that we are all in it together and better coordinated in all of that. So the first thing I want to stress on is data. Sadly, most of us, what we say or use in our policy making is anecdotal, not based on hard data, which in turn is critical for good research analysis and in turn identifying solution pathways. We know that women are bearing the disproportionate brunt of the crisis, but we still do not have enough data on who, where, how, and why. Gender disaggregated data for each sector of the economy is extremely important. And let me share some examples. Globally, the sectors which have seen the most business closures are travel or tourism, event services and hospitality, education and childcare services, performing arts and entertainment, hotels, cafes, and restaurants. And while anecdotally we don't know that in most of these sectors there are more women who are affected, but now is the time to actually collect hard data. Just to give an example, I mean, if you really look at airline cabin crew, a few days ago I had actually tweeted that when Air India flew an all-women crew across the globe, while we seem to be getting better in actually having more women pilots, when it comes to cabin crew, it's still terrible across the world. 80% of cabin crew across the globe are women. And if you really look at that in domestic flights, even in Bangladesh, where they've stopped serving food, it's quite likely if there have been people who've been laid off, it must have been women staff. In general, men are more likely to operate in the professional services sector, which have faced relatively lower business closures than education and childcare services, and wellness, personal grooming, sports and fitness services, where women's business owners are more likely to be concentrated. These are the same sectors which I mentioned about that are potentially more exposed to an economic recession and present less opportunity to switch to home-based activities. In fact, we often use the word frontliner, and the way we define frontliners are people who simply do not have the luxury of operating from home. They have to go to a place of work and then work. So I understand that in the course of this very important event, you must have discussed in detail, you mentioned that yesterday, strengthen women's financial inclusion. In effectively doing so, it depends in part on getting a clearer picture of the problems we face. If financial institutions provided more sex disaggregated data, we could establish better financial inclusion goals and monitor progress. And so data can also provide insights into which policies are having the greatest impacts or which markets are lagging behind and need additional support. The second issue I want to highlight is the need to craft new and perhaps more comprehensive and targeted solutions. Paying close attention to different constraints that men and women face can help design the right policies to move forward post-COVID-19. For example, and I've heard this before, that women often don't have enough collateral to even access institutional finance, and therefore every financing effort needs to ensure that funds are being dedicated to directly reach women, including finding alternatives to usual ask for collaterals. And although many governments, including the ones that are probably participating in this particular event, have taken unprecedented measures in strengthening access to stimulus packages, cash transfers, providing paid sick leave and unemployed benefits, while some of these are definitely benefiting women, few are being designed or implemented specifically with their rights or needs in mind. In fact, we undertook a study, UNDP undertook a study and showed that less than 18% of the global social protection jobs response are actually gender sensitive. And although you have mentioned in your opening remarks, I think we need more comprehensive solutions. So I would normally ask you to think of actually moving from financial inclusion to looking at economic inclusion. And economic inclusion would actually mean that if you have bundled economic inclusion interventions, which could include protective measures such as coaching sessions, establishment of community savings and loans groups, community sensitization sessions, cash grants, and these in our programs have had a variety of positive impacts for women beneficiaries. We also recently targeted women entrepreneurs to connect them to e-commerce. I don't know whether you've seen it. We've started something called Ananda Mela. It was started actually just during Eid last year and inaugurated by the Honorable Speaker of Parliament. And the idea was to actually look at people who are essentially women craftspersons, very small and whether we could connect them to e-commerce and actually reach out to customers. And we are now seriously considering an experiment, and I think Tina mentioned it, that may help highlight the utility of distributing mobile phones, which have become critical instruments to share information, deliver digital payments, and allow for remote monitoring in the COVID-19 context. And therefore, in one of the upcoming programs, we're actually thinking of doing an experiment with about 100 odd women who could receive an access to a mobile phone. And we would not only see whether we can connect them with markets and everything else, information, but we will also get to see whether they get to keep the mobile phones or they're taken away by their husbands or sons. So that also we will get to know. The third is the fact that we need to somehow take advantage of the growing care economy. And I think I don't want to dwell much on it, but India and Bangladesh particularly are two countries which have been, I mean, I've been across the world, I've seen that, if you really look at the care economy, this is something that we are naturally good at. And I think this is something that could, and we are seeing an increasing rise of possibilities there in the future. And there we need to come together. And finally, let me speak a bit on the need for global solidarity. We live in a world full of passport-less problems, be it climate change, be it cross-border public health hazards, to transboundary crimes, to situations of injustice, manifesting their impacts and spilling over cross-boundary. In Cox's Bazar, we have a situation where something goes wrong in a neighboring country, and in Bangladesh, we are facing the problem. And these transboundary problems need transboundary solutions, and that would mean that we all get together to make sure that we are able to help each other in addressing many of these transboundary problems. Particularly, I mentioned this because if you really look at the largest numbers of women who've actually come back with very little prospects of regaining livelihood, these are migrant workers who have returned home with little prospects for return. And while one area that the subcontinent has had many success stories and should be expanded across recovery programs is investing in women's capacities and confidence to perform well in competitive markets. In fact, in our slum improvement programs, we invest in what seems an invisible sort of input that goes into developing women to be much more confident and being able to articulate them well, and in turn helps to catalyze for long-term social transformation for a more equal and sustainable future for all. So what you have started now is an excellent beginning. I congratulate you for that. And I thank you in advance for sticking together and working together to, using the words of Kaori Sasaki, you've started a network, make the net that actually works. And that would be a guarantor of success. So let me finish by wishing all of you a very safe, healthy, and increasingly prosperous 2021. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sudipto. I think you have highlighted many important points. And I think we all agree how pandemic has affected and taken a back step for the women workforce. And the areas that you have spoken to reduce the gender inequality is surely we may have some solutions in the tourism, hotels, hospitality, childcare, entertainment sector. And through data, hopefully these can be addressed. And finally, your proposal on economic inclusion route should also be considered within the committee. So thank you for your valuable points. Now I would like to request the ambassador of the Japanese ambassador, Naoki Ito, who is our special guest in today's seminar closing session, to enlighten us with his valuable speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Nuzhat. Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Dipumoni, Education Minister of Bangladesh, Madam President of Bangladesh India Business Council of WICI, Ms. Montasha Ahmed, distinguished speakers, Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon. I'm so delighted to join you to say a few words at this Asia Women Entrepreneur Summit this afternoon. This session has presented wide perspectives on challenges and opportunities for women entrepreneurs. My special thanks should go to Ms. Kaori Sasaki, who participated from Tokyo, Japan, and shared her very insightful views and experience. I hope today's event has also provided a new way of networking through online meeting. But thank you very much once again, Sasaki-san. In Bangladesh, since the start of the year, the number of newly infected people has dropped, so has the infection rate, and inoculation of vaccine started last week. So certainly it's time to consider how we can bounce back in 2020-21 from the global crisis, though of course risk of infection has yet to be fully contained. We have to aim to build back stronger and better for women's empowerment in the post-pandemic, not just to recover to the same level before the pandemic. This is what Japanese minister in charge of women's empowerment, Ms. Seiko Hashimoto, said in her speech during the Women and the Economy Forum of APEC, Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, in September 2022. COVID-19 has had a major and disproportionate impact on women and girls in the world, as Stipdo Mukherjee explained already, and Japan is no exception. So let me share some of the challenges our country experienced. Spousal and domestic violence increased and escalated due to anxiety and stress during business and school closures. Women need to shoulder heavier burden on childcare and elderly care. Loss of income and employment has seriously impacted. In fact, female workers face higher risk of layoffs and loss of livelihoods because 56% of working women in Japan is non-regular workers, and they are concentrated in the hardest hit sectors, such as restaurants, tourism, retail, and hospitality, as Mr. Mukherjee mentioned. The service industries, where a relatively high number of women are employed. The number of Japanese women in employment decreased by 700,000, almost twice as many as that of men from March to April last year. Single-parent families' economic difficulties are another issue of grave concern. Media described the wave of women recession hit Japan. In October, the number of women committing suicide increased by 80% compared to a year ago. So the government sought to address the situation and focused on measures for gender equality and women's empowerment in the budget formulation process, what we called gender budgeting. At the same time, expansion of online work has created new working styles for both women and men. Working from home could encourage men to participate in unpaid care work, which is traditionally done by women. This could alter the work-life balance for women and expand the opportunities of employment for the future. Against this background, Minister Seiko Hashimoto advocated of aiming to build back stronger and better. We all should have opportunities to further advance gender equality in overcoming the challenges we face today. That is why I believe UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres asked member states to put women and girls at the center of efforts to recover from COVID-19. The Japanese government has been working in cooperation with UN agencies, in particular UN Women, to support those women marginalized by the COVID-19 crisis in developing countries. We have extended our support based on the concept of human security, in which life and dignity of all should be protected. The concept of human security was detailed out jointly by late Sadako Ogata and Professor Amartya Sen in 2002. We are of the view that in post-corona period, international community needs to refocus on human security and come up with effective policy measures to protect and empower women and girls with funding, capacity building, and institutional building. It is hoped that our support programs simultaneously help women in developing countries protect themselves from infectious disease while also improving their livelihoods. Thus, gender equality and women's economic empowerment will be attained globally. If I may touch upon a little bit about what we do in this part of the world, Japan joined the Women Entrepreneurs Finance Initiative since 2017, with a contribution of 50 million US dollars to the fund established in the World Bank, the scale of which is more than 1 billion with risk-abated private capital. 2.7 million out of our funding has been mobilized to create market opportunities for SMEs owned by women in Bangladesh. And in India, approximately 200,000 US dollars was spent as capital for women-led startups in villages. We are pleased to note that this initiative has been utilized to address those challenges, women entrepreneurs and women SMEs, and hope that it will promote further women's proactive roles in business. Before concluding my remarks, let me go back to the story in Japan once again. Over the last several years, promoting diversity has become one of the mainstays of economic policy of the government. As a result, women's labor force participation rate increased and now beyond 70%. Disclosure of information with regard to women employees advanced since companies are now required by law. Corporates adopted better child care leave system. Now, stock markets and investors are talking about diversity index of listed companies to measure long-term and sustainable profitability. With the success of the policy implementation, I expect once we contain and win over the pandemic, we will be able to see better prospects for women entrepreneurs and employees in the near future. Thank you very much for inviting me to attend this event. I have learned a lot about opportunities for women in post-COVID period, including SMEs, startups in this country, and the importance of access to technology and mobile phones. Japan will do its utmost to continue to cooperate countries in Asia to provide opportunities for women entrepreneurs. Our aim should be to build back stronger and better. Shobaike onek dhanyabad.
Thank you so much for your wonderful speech. And like you said, it is time to move on. The vaccine has come. It is the right time. I would also like to thank Mantasha Ahmed, our president, WIKI, for spearheading this seminar in such a way that we can all discuss these opportunities and bring solutions from different fronts, be it financial or non-financial. And like you also said, that working from home for men can also bring in work-life balance and capacity building and reduce the gender inequality. We shall keep all these in mind and work together. So with that, I would now like to mention that we have a very special section. It's the awards section, and requesting Mantasha, I will hand over Mantasha to lead this particular segment.
Thank you, Nuzhat, for giving me this opportunity. I'm absolutely delighted to announce the awards now. The Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, WIKI, has given the highest honor to Dr. Dipumoni, our Honorable Education Minister, and the category of the award is Women of the Decade in Public Life and Leadership. And I'm very happy to say that the previous awardees include our Honorable Speaker, Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhary, who was given this award yesterday, and also Dr. Mai Al-Kailia, who's the Honorable Health Minister of Palestine. And this award, the awardees also include Justin Trudeau, the Honorable President of Canada, and many other prominent world leaders. And we're also giving this award to Her Excellency Saida Muna Tasnim, who's our ambassador, our High Commissioner in London, in UK. And the category of her award is Iconic Women, Creating a Better World for All, a very befitting award for Munapa. And our chair today is Dr. Harbin Arora, and she's also the president of WIKI. But first of all, I would like to request our Honorable Education Minister to present the award to our Excellency Saida Muna Tasnim. The award category is Iconic Women, Creating a Better World for All. Thank you. Honorable Minister,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes, I would like to request you to.
Oh, okay. I'm delighted. I'm delighted, and I think it's you've chosen such a wonderful person, and I have known her almost all my life because we have been together in college also, and she is a wonderful person, a person who has accomplished so much in her life. She's a career diplomat, but she's also a trained engineer and a wonderful, wonderful person. So I'm absolutely delighted that you are giving her this honor, and I'm somehow present here to deliver it to her virtually, though.
Yes, yes, Munapa, would you like to say
Congratulations,
something?
congratulations, Muna. My all my best wishes and love.
Assalamu alaikum. Is it my turn to speak? Sorry, I missed a little
You
bit.
can just say a few words about your feeling about the award. That's all.
Of course, of course. Well, Honorable, Education Minister of Bangladesh, Dr. Deepu Moni, Her Excellency, and everyone present here, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your kind words about me, and I can't. I feel so humbled and so gratified, that Wiki has and Bangladesh. Your organization, Investment Bangladesh Indian Business Council, has nominated me for this, and this award, which I was under the impression it's going to be on diplomacy and public office, but I just realized that I'm being awarded as an iconic woman, so it's a bit too much to fathom. But I certainly don't deserve it. There are so many deserving candidates for this, but the fact that you have recognized me, I'm truly grateful to you. And it's just it just makes me feel so humbled again, doubly humbled that I'm the other ladies who have been given this award by you over the last 2 days. Is none other than the first woman speaker of Bangladesh Parliament, Honorable Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhry. And at the same platform today, I've received the award from Bangladesh's first foreign minister, as well as Bangladesh's foreign education minister, my former boss, Dr. Deepu Moni. I mean, I hardly deserve to be in the same platform with them, but I am so honored that we are receiving this award together. And of course, I don't know if Miss Cherie Blair was supposed to join here, but if she hasn't joined, has she joined?
She did. She gave the keynote speech. Yeah, and she had to leave. Yes.
Okay. Anyway, Cherie's Mrs. Blair is also a good friend, and I'm working with her. And a while ago, Ms. Shudipto spoke. What a wonderful speech he gave. How many, the emphasis that UN is placing on Bangladesh. And of course, Ambassador Nauki, Eto, few good men who can make the difference, just like a few good women can make a difference in actually championing how gender parity, gender equality, women's empowerment. I take this opportunity to express my deep gratitude to our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, because if you look at the history of Bengali women's empowerment, it didn't start today. It just didn't start right after independence. It actually started with Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman creating a platform for women in politics, and in the 60s, 70s, and creating a constitution and a Bangladesh, which is a people's republic, a secular republic, where he's put Bengali nationalism, inclusion, secularism, but also at the same time Article 28 of our constitution, which says that women will be in every sphere of life equal to men. And that provision created was inspired by none other than the Universal Declaration of Human Rights or the Bill of Rights. And therefore, I give my salute and a standing ovation to our father of the nation, particularly given that 2021 is such a special year. It's the centenary, birth centenary of the father of the nation, but it's also 50th anniversary of our independence. It's also 50th anniversary of Bangladesh's diplomatic relations with India, because I know it's Wiki which is organized this award, so I must pay a tribute to India's contribution in our independence and our war of liberation, and also pay a special tribute to India's first woman Prime Minister, Srimati Indira Gandhi. This is also a 50th anniversary of Bangladesh-UK bilateral relations, diplomatic relations, and we would be observing that in a befitting manner. So this is a very special year, and to receive this award is on this special year that I do pay a tribute to our father, the nation, who had the courage to stand up and say that more than 200,000 women who were violated during our war of liberation, who had faced sexual violence during the war of liberation, that he would father and give his name as the father of the war babies. Who can have that kind of magnanimity? So I am paying a tribute to him on this special day. And of course, I also pay a tribute to our freedom fighters, 3 million martyrs, and more than 200,000 women, without whom I couldn't have been identified today or introduced today as a High Commissioner of Bangladesh, of independent country Bangladesh. So I owe it to them. So that's why I pay my tribute. I do want to take this opportunity to express my deep gratitude to Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, the agent of change, winner of the Planet 50/50 Award of the UN Women, as well as the Agent of Change Award, and many other awards. She's within the top 29 most influential women, according to Forbes and Fortune women's Fortune ranking of most influential women in the world. Just yesterday, she was amongst the there's a world index which is 2021, and she's within the top 40 most influential women. But most importantly, she has been a woman who's empowered other women. And it's extremely important. I think many speakers have pointed this out, to support the peerage and the support group and the networking. So Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been that kind of a leader who's actually transformed who's revolutionized, women empowerment story of Bangladesh from 2009 to 2021. It's like a decade of very strong, robust, and robust and very conscious. I mean, it's not a miracle. It's a very conscious policy decision and a political leadership, a vision to bring women at the center stage of Bangladesh's public and private sector, in development, in every sphere of Bangladesh's life. I mean, she's the one who's appointed the first woman Speaker of the Parliament, perhaps the second in South Asia, the first women minister, foreign minister, Dr. Dipu Muni, the first defense minister, the first home minister, women home minister, and everything first, the first vice chancellor and first, major general in the armed forces. And then, what can I say? I mean, look at Bangladesh's women cricket team and Bangladesh's women footballers team, who are getting, the Champions Trophy from many Asian and international games. So, there's just so much of the story of women empowerment has transformed so much that World Economic Forum over the past 5 years has consistently given Bangladesh, Bangladesh within South Asia has ranked the top. But within the world, out of 144 countries, our position has always been 45th or 40th. That means we're competing with countries such as Norway and Iceland. So with these words, I would like to express my gratitude once again to Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina for providing me an opportunity to serve here as Bangladesh's first women High Commissioner in London. And, I dedicate this award to all these women entrepreneurs who in Wiki and everybody who's participating here, who, all the women who are, agriculture, 50% of the women are in agriculture are women, 60% of our fishermen are women. So all those women who are breaking all the glass ceilings. And as Eleanor Roosevelt has said that, the strength of a woman is felt. Woman is like a tea bag, and she gets strong when you put her into hot water. So it's every one of us who's faced this hot water situation, and I dedicate it to them. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Congratulations again, Ms. Muna Tasneem. I would like to hand back over the forum to Mantasha Ahmed.
Yes, I would like to request our tech team, the head of tech team, Raju, can you please share the screen of celebration for Her Excellency? Thank you very much. So much we can do in a virtual platform, but we tried our best. I hope you liked it. Now I would like to request our Honorable President of Wiki, Dr. Harbin Arora. She's with us. I would like to request you to present this prestigious award, your highest honor, which is the Women of the Decade in Public Life and Leadership Award to our Honorable Education Minister, Dr. Dipu Moni. And as I mentioned earlier, that this is the highest category of your award, the highest honor, and it's only dedicated to world leaders and heads of states and other dignitaries. And the previous awardees include, like I said earlier, Justin Trudeau and many other world leaders. So over to you, Dr. Harbin Arora.
Thank you, my soul sister Mantasha, and everybody at the Wiki Bangladesh India Business Council. My congratulations to each one of you for putting up such a world-class event, and my esteemed regards and utmost gratitude to the leaders, all the leaders who have joined us today. Especially, I hear that I heard so many firsts about first woman minister, first woman speaker in so many different fields. It is my utmost honor to present our highest award, powered by the Women Economic Forum, presented by Wiki, the Women of the Decade in Public Life and Leadership, to Her Excellency Dipu Moni, the Honorable Minister of Education of Bangladesh. Thank you, ma'am, for being with us, your support, and it would be our utmost gratitude from our side for your kind acceptance of our humble award.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm truly humbled, and this is a great honor for me. And the fact that you thought that I deserve this, and that is just I'm truly humbled, and I express my gratitude to you, to Mantasha, and to your organization, Bangladesh India Business Council of Women Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Wiki. And I must dedicate this award to all those women. I mean, those who have created the path that we could travel. Through all their sacrifices, they created the path for us. And now it is our duty to extend and expand that path for all the others who are suffering, who are struggling, and those who are yet to come. So we must work together for all the women in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. It is really our honor. On this note, I would like to invite you to Mother India. I have never been to Bangladesh, and I will take this opportunity to invite myself over to your beautiful country. Of course, I have so many sisters there, and we are all chatting with each other on WhatsApp practically every day. So I just don't feel like we are two countries. We are just two sides of the same coin, next to each other, neighbors.
Thank you. I think there was some technical.
Cultures, we are so connected, so alive. Hello?
Yes, yes.
Can you
You're
hear
audible
me?
now. Yes.
Yes. Yes, I said we feel so connected and so aligned that it is important that once COVID-19 settles down, hopefully with the vaccine reaching, we are all in a better state. We would love to actually meet in person, something we took for granted, but now we know the value of it, and we will meet with so much more gratitude, knowing that how important this is. What I really loved in all the speakers in their thoughts and sharing today is one common theme that comes out is the need to partner and the need to work together, and to realize that every person in front of us, irrespective of gender, irrespective of age, irrespective of whether they're a corporate or an NGO or a school, every person is my potential partner. And if we can have this spirit of partnership with mutual respect, with equality, and we talk about minimizing the gender gap, if we can reduce this gap between our hearts by way of love and friendship and gratitude, I think together, like Honorable Education Minister said, we can create pathways for so many in our generation and for our daughters and granddaughters, just as we benefited from the sacrifices of the ages past, of the women leaders. You evoked a legendary leader Indira Gandhi, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, and all the women today in the political system, in the political field, and in a range of, you evoked army, diplomats, sports, where women are really breaking the glass ceiling, so to say, and creating the way and becoming role models for many young girls to aspire to, and creating those opportunities. We have to, I know physical roads and India to Bangladesh spoke about it, and he's adjoining between countries to boost trade and ties, but I'm talking of connectivity, of opportunities that we create just by connecting to each other as people. And these are the opportunities of innovations that we create by networking, by being in each other's heart, by looking out for each other, looking after each other, and we work with the guiding principle of, like we say in India, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means the spiritual vision of the world is one family. We are all one family, and these borders only define us. They do not contain us. They only give us our address. But like when we have one address at our home, it doesn't stop us from opening our hearts to people in other homes, in other places. I think that is the kind of openness we need to have, our world needs to have. And in COVID, we have realized that how united we are. Irrespective of where we are living, we have been touched by this calamity in the same way. So in a way, this calamity has united us in a sad way, in an unfortunate way, but it has sort of united us in a shared and a common experience of our humanity, and made us realize that no matter where we are, which part of the world we live in, whoever we are. Sorry, do you hear me?
Yeah, what we will do is we would be happy to hear you again during the closing.
Yes, no problem. Please go ahead. I thought I was addressing the closing. Please go ahead, my sister.
we still have to hear from the remarks from our from our chief guest. So we'll come back.
Please, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yes, but before that, I would like to request our tech team to share the celebration again, this time for our Honorable Minister and the very prestigious award, Women of the Decade in Leadership and Humanity. Thank you. Honorable Minister and Her Excellency, the awards will be, the virtual award will be sent to your offices via email or WhatsApp. So maybe you can get it printed, or we'll print a copy for you later. Thank you. Over to Nuzhat, sorry.
Yes, okay. So we all know who will be speaking right now. Remarks from our chief guest. A little bit about her. She's a well-known Bangladeshi politician, a member of Bangladesh Parliament, and former foreign minister of Bangladesh. Following the huge victory of Army League in 2019 general election, the party appointed her as the country's first female minister of education. Among several other responsibilities, Dr. Dipumoni is the chair of Board of Trustees of the Asian University for Women. So it is my pleasure to welcome Dr. Dipumoni, MP, Honorable Education Minister, Government of People's Republic of Bangladesh. Please, we would love to hear your speech and hear about the education empowerment for women in Bangladesh. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, distinguished keynote speaker, Mrs. Sherry Blair, CBE QC, His Excellency Mr. Naoki Ito, Ambassador of Japan to Bangladesh, Her Excellency Ms. Saida Muna Taslim, our High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Mr. Sudipto Mukherjee of UNDP, Ms. Kaori Sasaki, prominent women entrepreneur from Japan, Ms. Tina Jabin, CEO and MD, Startup Bangladesh Limited, and Dr. Harbin Arora, President Wiki. What wonderful remarks that we just heard from you. It has created, I think, a wonderful environment. Let me begin by paying my deepest respects to our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, on his birth centenary that we are celebrating. And to all our martyrs of our War of Independence on the Golden Jubilee of our independence, and also to all the martyrs of our language movement in this month of International Mother Language Day. My best wishes and congratulations to all, and to all the representatives of women entrepreneurs from different Asian countries, policymakers, government and non-government officials, academics, representatives of print and electronic media, and all the invited guests. Empowerment of women is essential for the economic and social development of a developing country like Bangladesh. Therefore, the country must be taken forward through their presence and partnership in all fields. The government has been implementing various programs to involve the women of the country in the mainstream of development under the visionary and inspirational leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina. The representation of women in various fields has increased over the years. Women have come a long way in the service sector as well as in activities directly related to industrial production. A number of renowned women entrepreneurs of the country have achieved success in industrial investment and business with their talent, innovative energy and management skills, and are making significant contribution to the development of our country. About 90% of the industries in our country belong to small and medium sectors. SME is the most labor intensive and low capital dependent sector. It is possible to create more employment with less capital investment through this sector. Therefore, the SME sector is of great importance in achieving the national development goals. The ongoing corona situation has affected Bangladesh as well as the rest of the world, and SME entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs, have been affected in various ways. They face difficult challenges in the supply of raw materials, production and marketing of goods, salary allowances for employees, business financing, and use of technology. However, the government has announced financial incentive packages for SMEs, and in collaboration with various government departments and agencies, and SME entrepreneurs have started to turn around. In this context, I believe that the International Women Entrepreneurs Summit will help in discussing and formulating specific policies on how entrepreneurs will expand their businesses through the necessary economic, technological, and other strategies in the aftermath of the global pandemic. Dear participants, although 98% of the enterprises fall into the category of cottage, micro, small, and medium enterprises, the presence of women in these enterprises is not significant yet. Although this rate is steadily increasing, there is a need to increase various types of support to engage women in businesses business activities at a higher rate. There is no alternative for training and empowering our women entrepreneurs to overcome the challenges of women's empowerment, gender inequality, digital literacy, technical training, and other non-financial challenges. We have to do away with the social practices of inequality. In Bangladesh, we have ensured that our legal practices do not discriminate women. And you have already heard from Saida Muna Tasneem about all the provisions, equality provisions that are enshrined in our constitution. Through our education system, now we are working on changing the mindset so that women do not have to suffer gender-based violence and all the other discriminatory practices, and that they enjoy equal rights and can thrive in safe environment in every sphere of public and private life. Women entrepreneurs are facing various stresses now during this COVID at home and at work. As a result, mental health problems are also being created. The SME Foundation is conducting a number of stress management and mental health workshops for women entrepreneurs. Women entrepreneurs need to be ready to get loans from banks. Despite various incentive packages announced by the government during COVID situation, women entrepreneurs are facing difficulties in getting incentive packages from banks due to non-availability of trade licenses, bank accounts, proper accounting, and financial management. Most of the women entrepreneurs in our country manage the financial management of their businesses themselves. They do not usually hire accountants. It can be noticed that more than 81% of women entrepreneurs in our country do not have an accountant. There is a need to increase the awareness and capacity of women entrepreneurs in this regard. Therefore, entrepreneurs need to be trained in accounting and financial management, and it will play an important role in obtaining loans from banks and financial institutions for the purpose of conducting business profitably and expanding their businesses. They've faced many challenges. Their lack of digital skills and limited access to technology. We have already heard about all these challenges, and we have also heard how we can solve these problems. And we have heard about all the digital platforms that are already there working and helping our women entrepreneurs. The government has formulated many policies, including the women's development policies, financial assistance policies, national skills development policies, and have undertaken various programs. The SME Foundation has undertaken various programs and projects to enhance the skills, productivity, and job creation capacity for women entrepreneurs. All these initiatives of various stakeholders have changed the status of women entrepreneurs in Bangladesh and the characteristics of women entrepreneurship development. Under the refinancing loan scheme of the central bank, women entrepreneurs are getting collateral-free loans at 9% interest through various banks and other financial institutions. In addition, the SME Foundation, an organization of the Ministry of Industries, has been conducting collateral-free single-digit interest rate loans for women entrepreneurs since 2009. The SME Foundation, in collaboration with the Ministry of Women and Children's Affairs and the A2I program, has provided training to 3,000 women entrepreneurs to become ICT freelancing entrepreneurs. The foundation provided training to 30,000 entrepreneurs through 1,000 training programs, of which 60% are women. The SME Foundation organizes national and regional SME product fairs with the aim of promoting, selling, and expanding SME products, and 65% of the participants of these fairs are women entrepreneurs. In addition, under the Department of Women's Affairs, efforts have been made to build a women entrepreneur-friendly organization across the country through Joita to market the products and services of small women entrepreneurs across the country. These programs will accelerate the development of women entrepreneurs. It will play a role in creating employment opportunities for women and reducing inequality between men and women. We have also heard from Ms. Kaori Sasaki the importance of networking and how she defines network. So it is very important. And I think we have heard some wonderful ideas from the speakers today. The summit has brought together policymakers, senior government officials, industry leaders, and academics from across Asia to identify the challenges and opportunities for women entrepreneurs, especially during the global pandemic. I'm hopeful that specific recommendations on finance, technology, marketing opportunities, and other issues aimed at developing small and medium enterprises through women's empowerment from this summit will be successfully implemented. I would like to conclude by wishing the Asian Women Entrepreneurs Summit 2021 a grand success. I thank Bangladesh India Business Council of Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries for organizing the Asian Women's Entrepreneurs Summit 2021, and also giving me an opportunity to participate and interact with so many friends. And again, I'm truly humbled by the honor that you have bestowed upon me. So with these words, I thank all of you again. This is the land where we have a visionary leadership, an inspirational leadership, and through her leadership, this country is progressing so fast. And and one of our, I would say, most outstanding achievements is women empowerment in this country. And she is seen as a champion of change around the world. And we're very, very proud of her. So Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu, may Bangladesh live forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. It was a delightful speech, and we agree totally, like rightly you have pointed, that SME is an important sector in contributing to the national development goals, and hope the financial stimulus by the government will help the women entrepreneurs in expanding and recovering from the losses for sure. Change of mindsets, we also agree, has become crucial for women to enjoy equal rights and safe environment. It is also commendable that SMEs are supporting some of the stimulus packages to the women entrepreneurs. And nevertheless, the challenge of 81% of having no accountant skills, that is something I think we should be addressing through training. And finally, congrats in introducing Joita project, which will hopefully evolve and accelerate in women entrepreneurs' work. Thank you so much. I would now like to move on to our chair of this session, of our closing session, Dr. Harbeen Arora. Of course, without introducing her with a few words, it would be incomplete. She is the founder and global chairperson of the All Ladies League and Women Economic Forum. Dr. Arora is also the founder of the She Economy, the world's first e-commerce platform for women entrepreneurs worldwide for goods and services. The platform is now translating a powerful global network into a powerful global marketplace. She's also a successful businesswoman and a compelling leader. Dr. Arora is the founder and owner of a large business group having investments in health, wellness, high-tech agriculture, skill development, real estate, renewable energy, and chancellor of 3 reputed universities, India's, and the list may go on. So, but it's great to have her in our closing session, and I would like her to please begin her speech. Thank you.
Thank you, my sister, for the warm words of welcome. I think I've already given my closing speech a little before as well. So my apologies for that. But I just want to thank everybody, Honorable Excellency, ministers, ma'am, you just spoke and gave us such a beautiful address. And I'm just so connected. I have ever greater desire to come and visit your beautiful country and
Please
connect
do.
with my most empowering sisters. Indeed, you rightly said, under a champion of change, a visionary leader like Bangladesh has, and a whole army of women leaders along with our brothers who are there in support, and you've made some very empowering choices as a nation and are making them every day. And I think that is the step we need to take together as a community, as a nation, as women, as men, as elders, as youth, everybody. I always say health is a result of healthy choices. Happiness is a result of happy choices. Likewise, empowerment is a result of empowering choices. So clearly, you are a nation making empowering choices, putting women at the forefront and recognizing that nothing short of the full equality of women embraced in body, mind, heart, and soul will be the game changer for becoming the nation that you aspire to be. A nation that is inclusive and that works for every person and leaves no one behind. And we all know all over the world, we have representatives from the United Nations, ambassadors, excellencies, non-profits. All of you have outlined the need of all of us working together, and that is precisely the skill that women have, is uniting everybody. We will all agree that families exist the way they do because of the love of women, because they have this God-gifted knack to put everybody together. I remember speaking to an ambassador in India. He was the, I wouldn't be naming him, but he made a very pertinent point. And he said that we were, 4 brothers and a mother. And when the mother passed away, the family, all of them would just come every year from wherever they were to be with the mother, and they had the sense of the family. But when the mother passed away, there was sort of no family, because the force that unites everybody is the force of motherhood. Of course, a man can also incarnate the force of motherhood, and that's when we become saints. We transcend our genders, and we become the ultimate Shakti, like we say in India, of motherhood. But in our own humble way, we as sisters in India and sisters in Bangladesh are incarnating another hood of motherhood, which is sisterhood. By our sisterhood, by our togetherness, by feeling we are connected, we are really bringing together people across borders and having a change in hearts and mindsets with just dialogue, connection, coordination, leading to our collaborations and making us feel like part of one family. The sense that we are separate comes when we don't know each other. And in this separateness, mistrust and suspicion can be sown. But when we feel that we are part of one family, even if somebody tries to sow suspicion, mistrust, seeds of that, they will not sprout, because we already feel like one family. Today, with yesterday's very inspiring deliberations and today's with expert speakers sharing their thoughts, we have a very good idea of what all needs to be done, what steps need to be taken, from connectivity to capacity building, to financial inclusion, to skill development, to e-commerce, to IT collaborations. We know what needs to be done, but the point is it needs to be done. And women are the best implementers when it comes to, you really want to get something done, give it to the women, and better still give it to a group of women, and better still give it to a group of women in whom society believes, in whom family believes. All my sisters here will agree that when we feel supported by our families, by our better halves, by our in-laws, by our parents, by our children, we can go that much extra mile in doing what we can and making empowering choices for ourselves and our families in an inclusive spirit, in an inclusive vision. Every woman over here, no matter how high the level and the rank, I can feel, and I see it at every Women Economic Forum that we hold, we never forget to thank and we never forget to be grateful to people around us. That is something so, so beautiful. And I think with this just glue of gratitude, we ourselves as women can, encourage other people around us to help us, but a little helping hand, a little nudge from the government, from the leadership in corporates, from the leadership in educational institutions will go a long way in setting the tone at the top.
that let's be equal, let's respect each other with equality and believe in the full and equal humanity of every woman and every man. Thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity to join you. The sponsors, the supporters, I want to in particular thank you for making this possible, for believing in us. And I hope we can continue to weave these bonds like a beautiful Jamdani sari from India to Bangladesh, to all the countries in Asia, including Japan, where we also have a Wiki Japan as well. And we are doing a Women Economic Forum in Japan very soon too. So weaving all these threads together, let's have a very well-knit, close-knit, warmly knit one family of the regional neighborhood and be stronger together, thrive together, and blossom together. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Arora. You are most welcome. We are also waiting from Wiki to meet you, to come to Bangladesh. Hope as soon as the pandemic subsides and it's safe for you to come. So with that, we are coming to the closing session today of our seminar, which is Strategies to Recover from a Global Pandemic, Non-Financial Challenges and Opportunities for Women Entrepreneurs from the Asian Perspective. I think we had a wonderful, fruitful, constructive discussions, a lot of points, a lot of proposals, and we hope to see these in places with all of your support. I would like to thank very much our chief guest, Dr. Deepu Moni, MP, Honorable Education Minister, Government of People's Republic of Bangladesh, to attend our session today. Our special guest, His Excellency, Mr. Nako Ito, Ambassador of Japan to Bangladesh. Our other honorable guests, Mr. Sudipto Mukherjee, Ms. Kaori Sasaki, Ms. Tina Jabin, and Mr. Dr. Mofizur Rahman, our Mrs. Cherry Blair, who was very nice of her to also give her speech, and finally our President BIBC Wiki, Mantasha Ahmed, to lead this session. Thank you so much for a wonderful session, everybody, and hope we are still connected online. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Thank you, Her Excellency. Thank you, Mr. Nako.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Mantasha. Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you, Ms. Sasaki. I'm so grateful to you for joining from Japan. Thank you so much.
I would also like to take a moment to thank our sponsors, our key sponsor, BRAC Bank, also Summit Group, and supported by our Panami Shona Masjid Port Limited as well, publication partner Kaila Replica Limited, and our strategic partner SME Foundation, AFDB, communication partner Deshi Bhalobashi, and outreach partner Women in Incorpus for this particular seminar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tina Appa. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Arora.
And thank you all, and assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night for you. Thank you very much.
Yes. I'll send you an email tomorrow, Ms. Sasaki. Thank you so much for your valuable speech.
Sasaki, I am very much pleased by your speech. It was
very
wonderful.
Inspirational words. Yes.
Very inspirational.
Very
And how actually
inspirational.
you have come to this position by last 35 years. It was wonderful. Thank you very much. I salute.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Nuzhat. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, now probably we can leave. Thank you all.